crash course on pituitary gland and the hypothalamus. Let's start with the hypothalamus. Hypothalamus is like, as we said, the hand of the king. It affects the pituitary gland, which is the master gland or the king of seven kingdoms, by three methods. First is the production of ADH and oxytocin, which is released directly. Second, it sends specific signals to the anterior pituitary. Third, the hypothalamus has a neural connection to the adrenal gland. You remember the one that sits on top of the kidneys. So those are the three methods. Hypothalamus is at the top of all the endocrine function. Now, going with the theme, let's look at how hypothalamus impacts the pituitary gland. So, there are two ways of communication between hypothalamus and the pituitary gland. In the hypothalamus, there is a special type of veins or blood supply that carries information produced from hypothalamus directly to anterior pituitary, and it does not go anywhere other than in the body. So very specific communication through the blood from hypothalamus to the pituitary. And there are two sets, one that goes to the anterior pituitary, one that goes to the posterior pituitary. What does this information connect? So the hypothalamus is sending specific informations to the pituitary to do certain actions. It could be sending ACTH signal to the pituitary, which would be, or ACTH releasing hormone to the pituitary, which will then impact the adrenal medulla to release epinephrine, norepinephrine, remember the fight-flight response. Or it could be also releasing the glucocorticoids, meaning all these steroidal hormones, cortisols, cortisones, etc. It could also be stimulating the anterior pituitary to release thyroid stimulating hormone, which is going to specifically impact the thyroid gland to produce thyroid hormones. And the list goes on, as you can see in this image. GH, PRL, or the prolactin releasing hormone, follicle stimulating hormone, luteinizing hormone, and melanocyte stimulating hormone. All of those are produced from the anterior pituitary lobe, targeting special organs or cells within the body. What does the posterior pituitary do? Posterior pituitary actually has neural connections. So with the hypothalamus. So hypothalamus is getting some sensory responses from the rest of the body, and in turn directs the posterior pituitary to produce two specific hormones, ADH, which is specialized for water retention, and oxytocin, that is related to smooth muscles in the males and uterine contraction in the females. And there is an exhaustive list of all the anterior lobe hormones, their target glands, and their hormonal effect. It is also available in your textbook.